Howdy, chat. How we doing? Solazar, thank you very much for subscribing over on Twitch. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Punky Gal. Hello, One Hand Wonder. Hello, Entroma. Hello, DH Express. Hello, Catalina Gearbox. Hello, It's a Ro-Ro. Hello, hello, hello. How we doing, folks? Congratulations on your quiche, Catalina Gearbox. There is a new Ammon animation. You might watch it. Glad to see you, Solazar. Quiche has never really been my thing. Maybe I've just never had a really good quiche before. Hey, Metal Kitty Mom. Couldn't touch grass today. Canada made my air on poggers. Same, all-seeing dude. Same. I went outside to walk my dog and she started coughing, and worrisome, honestly. We made a new pizza dough at work today. Ooh, what was new about it? Also, chat, apparently there's been a major scientific breakthrough, which is pretty goddamn cool. Apparently, scientists have discovered the background gravitational hum of the entire universe. So you know just how there is kind of the like background radiation of the universe and that's why like you turn on your television with its antenna and all you see is like static, and that static is kind of the background the cosmic microwave background, as it's called. Well, there also is a gravitational wave background to the universe, and apparently it causes all of space-time to like wibble wobble and like together, which is pretty cool and interesting. Hey, Stolas, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you living? How you doing? The 5% of static stuff. A focaccia style dough. Ooh. Wait, TV static is the universe? Yeah, TV static is the cosmic microwave background. When you see TV static on your television, that's literally because of the Big Bang. It's because of the big boom at the beginning of the universe. And yeah, apparently there's like a secondary layer of static, you know? Am I streaming somewhere else these days? Nah, Debbie, I'm streaming on Twitch, and I'm streaming over on riverboat.gg. I'm so excited for the pizza. Wait, you made the new dough, but you haven't tried it yet? Let me get on site chat. Yeah, head on over here, all right? There you go. There's a link. But yeah, they used these gravitational wave detectors to essentially measure the warping of space-time. And that is just so goddamn cool. Jack, the Jordan B. Peterson call him cis tweet is so funny because there's only like 4 outcomes to it and 3 of them are hilarious. Yeah, of course. I mean, Jordan B. Peterson is like a fascist and I would say one of the right's greatest lol cows, you know? He's very high profile and he's very fun to make fun of. I also want Metal Kitty Mom's Pizza. We just made the new dough today in mass production for the arena. Yo, well, I want to hear a full report on how that tastes, Metal Kitty Mom. Site chat, site chat, site chat. Come and visit me at work, friends. Does that run over YouTube? It does. The site chat runs through YouTube so that they don't have to get ads. Even his own daughter can't stand him very much. Yeah, man. As soon as he wasn't useful for the all meat diet grift anymore, you know. He either cries, gets his shit rocked, or he does nothing, which are the 3 funny ones. Yeah. Honestly, it would also be funny if he like tried to throw hands with like a trans lady and just got his shit wrecked. You know? The 4th one is he hurts some meek little person. I disagree. I feel like if Jordan B. Peterson showed up and like assaulted a trans woman, number one, there's a very decent chance he would get his shit rocked in self-defense. Number 2, there's also a small chance that that trans woman is armed, in which case the outcomes might get funnier. And outcome 3 is that he successfully rocks their shit and then is like hounded in court until the day he dies. I see no downside here. Papa Lobster Tears made a dumb tweet every day. Every day. Yo, I wanna see Jordan B. Peterson try to pop Alana Farrell, okay? I wanna see him like walk up to Alana Farrell and try to fight her. That would be the funniest thing to happen. Like he goes in assuming like, oh, it's just a trans woman. How tough could they be? What happened with Jordan B. Peterson this time? Jordan B. Peterson was threatening to fight anyone who called him cis on Twitter. So of course I called him cis. And you know what? Everyone else should too. Hey, Entrama, how you doing? Yeah, decent? Good. Glad you put on pants today, bucko. Fighting people on Twitter, he's a real tough guy. Oh yeah, he's the toughest guy. I'd call him cis with the hard S. Damn, okay. I've not played any of the Oddworld games. I would like to at some point, but I have not done that, no. There we go. Catalina Gearbox, thank you for the $5 dono. I know, I'm well aware that there's a new Amon animation. That's why I got it right here. I got it right here for your face holes. You know what? You guys can just deal with the fact that I'm on a non-ideal setup, and you guys can deal with that.
Fighting a war. against the devil himself. We are advancing against the darkest forces of the universe, and we're marching with God on our side. And all the while, all around us, on a dimension that's invisible to our mortal eyes, there are angels and demons and supernatural forces, both good and evil, and they're fighting and they're working to defend and destroy us. And this is all happening all around us. The stakes are infinite. Our souls hang in the balance. We're standing on a battlefield right now as we speak.
I've
We
not
are
seen
soldiers.
it yet, Entrama.
Some people demand that we, have evidence outside the Bible. And I think that's kind of silly, personally.
There's no secular argument against adult incest. Brother and sister want to make love. What's your argument? That they're going to produce mentally retarded offspring? It's nonsense.
But let's just say, hypothetically, you got
Oh
a man
my
who
God.
stumbles across a DVD, a laptop that's got a bunch of child porn downloaded on it. And so he watches
What?
it. Now, you would probably, even as an atheist, I think you would instinctively say that he's wrong for watching.
What?
But why? It's not hurting anybody. Just as they'll condemn
What?
slavery, even when the slavery benefits most people in society.
What?
Actually, what we can say is that we'd all end up worse. All of us today would be in a worse
These are all real. These are all real quotes from Matt Walsh and Dennis Prager, by the way.
spot if slavery never existed at all across the entire globe.
There were undoubtedly many nice slaveholders in the South.
I am me.
Jeez.
But I
No.
wish I were more than me. A dolphin can't do that. But if there is no God, then this is kind of the entire story of mankind. Man desiring to be free from himself, to be more than what he is, more than material.
Is he
The
becoming
will
a
of
sweaty
man's heart
baby?
is towards evil from his youth.
Sweet
If we
lips,
research
hello.
to cure doubt, then we're still relying on our own understanding and we're demanding proof. All he needs me to do is just come to the cross, kneel before it, and say, I'm here, Lord. Change me. Although we should always be very careful with that prayer, the change me prayer. He'll do it.
Oh no.
He'll do it in ways that you didn't expect.
Babies are not kind. Babies are not murderers, not rapists, but they're not kind. They're pure narcissism. All of life exists for them.
But the question is not whether a thing hurts someone. The question is, why should I care that I hurt someone? Why shouldn't I hurt someone?
What? Is that
Why
Ben
is
Shapiro?
God hidden? Why is he
Just a
hidden from us?
guy.
I'll admit that I've had moments in prayer sometimes where I say to God, I say, God, if you would just reveal yourself. I mean, can you just reveal yourself? Can you come out of the shadows just for 1 second and just show
God.
me your glory in all of its fullness, just for 1
it's
second.
so
That's all I'm asking for, just
disgusting.
1 second. But the vision never comes.
Change me.
But what is a woman?
You just really don't want to answer the questions, do you?
I want mommy, I want milk, I want to be held, I want to be comforted. And if you do not do all these things immediately, I will ruin your life.
Ever since the beginning of time, teenage girls have been getting pregnant. Girls
God.
between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile, okay? That's biological. That's a fact, all right? I'm just stating facts. That's all I'm doing. So what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy. It's unwed pregnancy. That's the problem in society.
This is not a chill
My
way
kids consent all the
to
time.
start stream.
Congratulations, Elon. 4 billion views.
What the hell, dude? It's Matt Innsmouth Walsh. Oh god, dude. Hey, DB Wolf. Nindreen, I had it. I have to admit, I already prepped it. God, man, if Amon Animations ever makes a video game, it's gonna be scary as shit, dude. I'm banning you? No! Alright, also, before we get chill and comfy, somebody sent me this to react to. Allegedly TYT being transphobic. Let's see it. I haven't watched it yet. Fine.
Apologies for that. That was former President Donald Trump engaging in some sort of performance during his keynote speech at a dinner in Michigan. So he was given the Man of the Decade award by the County Republican Party, which great. They were, you know, respect was shown by Trump for being given that reward by moaning awkwardly on the stage. But nonetheless, he was imitating a cisgender female athlete struggling to lift a heavy weight, which he then goes on to contrast with what he claims is a transgender weightlifter competing against the cisgender female. Let's watch.
You see these records, weightlifting records that stood for 18 years. 18 years, and now they're being broken by like 100 pounds. They used to put a little tiny, a quarter of an ounce and a quarter of an ounce on these barbells, and a young woman would get up and she's a great champion. Little quarter, little thing, little. 18 years it stood. 18 years. And she got up and she's so proud. Her parents are there. And, oh, and she gets up. Oh, Mom, Dad, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh God, please
Then this
don't.
guy comes along. Have you lifted before? No, I haven't, really. Well, you're going to have to lift this weight over your head. And he said, that's all right. I should be able to do it. He goes like this. Then he said, how about adding 100 pounds to it?
Okay, so he has made this point before. Obviously, he's tapping into the contentious issue regarding transgender athletes competing against cis women. And he's never really specific about who he's referring to, so we can only speculate as to what or who he's referring to. And we'll get into the possibilities in just a moment. But before we do, Cenk, thoughts on Trump's moaning performance?
So there's two different parts of the story. One is that we'll get into the substance of what he said, but the more important part is the dude's a populist, and he does these kind of things that are goofy, and people love it.
They do.
And so people in establishment media look at that and go, oh, how unbecoming.
I mean, it's
there
true.
He goes
His audience
again.
does laugh it up.
He's blowing it. No, he's not. His audience loves it. You see how much they laugh? And overall, the reason why, among the reasons why he's successful, is because he entertains the crowds. Who's going to go to a DeSantis rally? You think DeSantis is going to be like, oh, no. DeSantis is going to So this is
that freaking face.
This is winning stuff. It is. You might not like it. You might hate it. It might be incorrect. It might be goofy, but it wins. And that's politics. It's not what the media and the Democratic Party have been telling you your whole life. Be super civil, discuss policy using SAT words, and make sure corporations win. But no, you get in there and you fight and you say silly things, outrageous things. You get people's attention and you get them to love you.
Yeah, and when you mention Trump being a populist, especially as it pertains to some of these culture war issues, his delivery there and the message he's trying to send might turn off members of our audience, might turn off people on the far left. But you guys have to also understand we are in a bubble. We are in a severe bubble, right? Especially when it comes to this particular issue, because there is growing rage in the country in regard to the lack of fairness when it comes to some of these specific situations in which transgender athletes are included in these competitions. You're gonna get upset about it, especially if you consider yourself or fancy yourself an activist for the transgender community. You can go ahead and get mad about it, but you need to understand that there are people who do not see it as fair, and it really depends on the specific situation. So as I mentioned earlier, right, we don't know exactly what he is referring to, but there are some prominent cases that have led to backlash that he could be talking about. So let's give you the examples. Actually, before we,
I guess here's the thing, like, what growing rage? Why, like literally trans people believe in trans rights very hard in America. It's a losing issue for Republicans. Now, trans women in sports viewed a bit more favorably by the masses, but like, this isn't like a good argument, you know, like, should people be viewing trans women in sports with rage? I think is maybe a better question to ask, you know?
I just want
also, why try and peer into the tea leaves of who Donald Trump is talking to in that bit? Like, he's probably making it up. You know, like, let's be honest, Donald Trump not known for talking about real issues.
So note, he has brought up this issue before. Most recently, he imitated the female weightlifter in April while trying to make a point about women's sports. So we have a quick clip on that. Let's watch.
She got over the barbell. They put like a little tiny ounce on one side, ounce on the other. This thing was, if you beat it by an ounce, you have the world record. And she got up there and, should I do it? I'm gonna do it. She couldn't do it.
Just when you thought it couldn't get worse.
Man,
I mean, he put
I'd
his hands
rather
under
not.
the desk and started voting. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'd rather not see that
but
happen.
The crowd goes nuts. They love it. Keep it real on what politics actually is, not what the clowns on TV tell you.
So he also claimed that this trans woman that he was speaking about in the last video that we showed you broke a 20-year record in weightlifting. And it's unclear if it's true because we don't know what he's referring to. He's not being specific, right?
He's making it up.
He's not naming any names.
Yeah, he's making it up.
Okay, but when someone on the opposing side makes an argument, I want to at least understand where the argument is coming from, right?
For sure. I have tons of nuance on that argument coming in a second.
So let's talk about some of the instances.
Oh, fucking God. God damn it. Where they're coming from is the same place that Republican politicians came from during the 1980s about people who had AIDS, okay? That they're coming from the same place. It's a minority group to be feared. That's it. There's no real concern here. The concern is riling up the base to hate trans people. That's the concern because it can help turn out people to the polls. Like, that's it. If you want to be like, well, a lot of people are really concerned about the sanctity of women's sports and like there won't be any fair competition. Well, that's a thing to talk about, I guess. But like, I've looked through the data. Trans women, after they have started hormone replacement therapy, do not have any meaningful advantage over comparable cis women. It takes about a year to 2 years, and depending on the sport, like I think the only real debate here is about whether you have like a 1 year on HRT rule or a 2 year on HRT rule. But like, let's not. Why are we giving air to this idea that conservatives at all give a shit about women's sports? Women's sports have been a joke to conservatives for like as long as women's sports have existed. You know, you got like Megan Rapinoe, like one of the best female soccer players in the United States, and like conservatives will mock her and be like, haha, she lost, her team lost to a team of high school boys. Or like they'll bring up how like Venus and Serena Williams lost to like the 200th ranked man player in tennis. Like ha 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 ha. Like they don't care about women's sports. The only time they ever talk about women's sports is to make fun of women. But they're talking about it now, not to necessarily make fun of women, but to pay lip service to the fact that they are protecting women. And in their mind, they're protecting the right kind of women, you know? Also, yeah, true, Metal Kitty Mom. Let's not entertain the idea that conservatives give a fuck about women at all. True. And also, like, again, a lot of the data, I've gone through it, a lot of it seems to not be corrected for height. And yeah, taller women are going to be able to do things like run faster. They're going to be able to do things like have more like strength in their like swimming strokes, etc. Being tall is helpful. And you know what? On average, trans women are taller than cis women. There are also other groups within the cisgender woman group that happen to be taller, you know? Does that mean we should just start banning any, on average, taller groups? That seems incorrect. And it seems to me like once we like look at the actual way we conduct like sports and sporting events, like it becomes pretty clear that like, hey, we don't like we let tall people play sports. What about cis women with higher than average levels of T? Yeah, like the Caster Semenya example. Exactly, Stolas. There are a lot of like in between conditions. Does that mean we need an intersex league because there might be an intersex person with higher levels of testosterone playing on the women's team? Does that mean we need a we need to start hormone checking every player? Do we need? Oh, you know what? Maybe we need to start doing some DNA tests. You know, look at those chromosomes. And you know what? While we're at it, why not just throw in the genital inspections? Now, maybe I'm being really unfair. I feel like this conversation is going to go south real quick. Ban everyone from playing sports? True. Everyone should only play Minecraft as God intended.
Instances that he could be referring to. Now, he referred to the supposed trans woman as Alice, though we couldn't find any weightlifters named Alice that fit his description.
And they didn't add an ounce to each side. I mean, we know he's exaggerating.
They put an ounce on one side, they put an ounce on another side.
And then the guy comes in, he had 100 pounds, he lifts it right away, okay?
None of that is true, but anyway, keep going.
So there is, however, a transgender weightlifter named Anne who has gotten a lot of attention in recent years for participating in women's competitions in Canada. Okay, so this particular case is actually really interesting, and I'll give you the details and then we can have a discussion about what we think about it. So at the Western Canadian Powerlifting and Bench Press Championships last September, her name is Anne Andrus. Andrus pressed 275 pounds, which sounds like a lot. I've never tried to bench press anything, much less 275 pounds. And that ended up breaking Alberta's female bench press record. It's been reported as if she broke the world record. She didn't, not even close. The world record for women's bench press is actually 650 pounds, which Jesus, beast mode, absolute beast mode.
Wow.
Now, she allegedly won 8 of 10 competitions entered in the women's category over the last 4 years.
And did.
Yeah.
In Canada.
In Canada.
Okay, so I read a bunch of other ones. So there's, because he said she had just, the trans woman had just entered the sport. And so there was an Olympian, the first Olympian to compete who was transgender, was in weightlifting, was from New Zealand, and she was 43 years old, and she got annihilated at the Olympics.
Right, but okay, so the Olympics case is really, really interesting because in the Olympics case, what they did was they measured or tested the testosterone levels and made sure that the testosterone levels were low enough to actually make the competition fair with the inclusion of the transgender athlete. That I'm okay with, right? But
I'm not even okay with that.
interesting, okay.
Okay, so here
Oh,
comes
boy.
But guys, like, okay, let me just make one other point. Like, sex
Oh boy. I wanted a nice chill time, and instead. Okay, so we're not okay with the hormone levels. What are we okay with there, Jank?
exists. Gender and sex are two different things. Oh, I know everyone's gonna freak out about that, but it's true. I don't know when they moved the goalpost and made it so gender and sex are the same, but they're not. So what I mean by that is people born male have different physical capabilities on average compared to women. We're talking about weightlifting here. Are we really gonna pretend like there isn't an advantage when it comes to individuals who are born male?
Yeah.
Dude.
So look, my line is high school. If they're high school and below, leave the kids alone. Let them go in whatever sport. If they wind up breaking a record, everybody's going to be all right. They're kids.
Yeah,
okay?
but high school athletics determine scholarships. So
I
let's
know, but
not
if you came
minimize
in-
that either.
No, I'm minimizing.
Oh no. Yeah, so let's be clear. All of the evidence. And I'll grant you that it is murky to sort through the evidence on this, but all of the evidence that I have seen indicates, even from some hostile sources, indicates that following 1 to 2 years on hormone replacement therapy, you basically reach a level of parity. Trans women reach a level of parity with cisgender women. They are not hulking out over their competition. And I got to be honest, I'm surprised that Jen kind of has a good-ish take on trans kids in high school sports. But I'm guessing there's another hammer about to fall on that one as well.
It. If you came in second because somebody broke the record in your school, you're going to be all right. That's not going to blow your scholarship, okay? On the other hand, when you go to Olympics or professional sports, no, sorry. So people of trans allies have sent me studies, et cetera, and I meticulously read through the studies. And the studies indicate there's 7 of them. It's inconclusive because there's not enough evidence, right? And trans allies will say like, see, we win. No, you don't win. It's inconclusive.
There aren't just 7 studies on this, Jenk. What are you talking about? There are so many more than 7? Are you fucking serious, dude?
And then when I looked further into the weightlifting one, yeah, but a couple of folks, including the transgender woman from New Zealand, in other contests, 2nd, 6th, 1st, 3rd, for a person who just entered that sport, and some who had been in the sport for a while, et cetera. No, the hormone blockers do lower the testosterone. They do even things out a lot, right? But the men still have other physical advantages, like we maintain mass much better. And to give you a sense of how unfair this is, where she won in Canada with 275-pound bench press.
Hey, Jenk, why do men retain mass so much better? It's because of the fucking testosterone. It's because of the hormones, dummy. That's why. And they like and if you're on HRT, you're not maintaining mass. Seven studies for 7 athletes is the least popular follow-up to 7 brides for 7 brothers. True, very knifey duck. A very, very niche reference that I, for one, appreciate.
I bench press 275, okay? And that's not a big deal for a guy. I mean, it's okay, but it's not that big a deal. You're gonna put that in the women's division. I don't care how many hormone blockers you had. It's gonna make a difference, okay? And in the limited cases, they're not.
Okay, you know what? You know what? From now on, anytime anyone makes this argument, here's my proposal, okay? I have a proposal. Cenk Uygur, right? You think that ability to bench press that amount of weight is going to remain consistent if you start taking hormone replacement therapy? You know what? Hell, you don't have to take the estrogen. Just take the testosterone blockers. I challenge Cenk Uygur to put his money where his mouth is. You take testosterone blockers for the next year. Let's see how much you can bench then. You know what? Make it 2 years because you're so confident in your position. Block your testosterone down to the level of a trans woman, which, by the way, most trans women have lower levels of testosterone than cisgender women because we monitor our testosterone and seek to get it down as low as possible. I mean, obviously these people aren't going to do that, right? Like, they would never do that because they know, right? They say it won't make a difference, right? Like, people who have the same position as Cenk here say it won't make a difference. Oh, it won't make a difference if you block testosterone in my body for 2 years. I'll still be able to bench it. Okay. It won't make a difference, so clearly it's not going to be harmful for you, so hop on that drug. Get to it. Prove it. Should be pretty easy, right? They won't do it because they know fundamentally, if you put it in those terms, that position is horse shit.
Like instantly breaking every record like Trump is saying, right? But they're doing better than the average bear, okay? So, and here, I'll add one thing that's really important. And
you know, that's interesting that you say that, because if trans women really were doing better than the average cis woman, well, that seems like it'd be something that'd be pretty easy to prove empirically, right, Cenk? Why aren't you getting that information to present? Unless, oh, that's right, it's not true. They again, a lot of what is happening in this segment is feels over reels. I shit you not. It's feels over reels. I don't know what happened with TYT folks. I don't know what happened, but this issue breaks them almost every single time it comes up over like the last year. And it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me.
we shot a show, I don't know if you guys are ever gonna see it, we shot a pilot just this weekend with a mixed Republican and Democratic family, okay? I asked them about trans rights. Should they have the same rights, same exact rights in housing, employment, etc.? Every one of them, including hardcore Trump people, were like, yes, they should have the same exact rights.
Exactly.
When I asked about this topic, every one of them, except one, 6 out of 7, were like, no, not competing in sports. Doesn't make sense. Men and women are different, okay? And so whether that's, we can get into the, continue that scientific debate, but as far as the American people go and politics go, you're gonna lose them. Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter.
That's not the scientific, your scientific debate consisted of presenting no actual information and saying there were no studies backing up the inclusion of trans athletes in high level sport, which is just not true, right? Those were your pieces of evidence. Now, it is interesting, right? Because we can look at like the polling data on trans issues, and overwhelmingly people support trans rights. And he even pointed that out in this segment just now, right? He pointed out people support trans rights across the spectrum. He also points out that people don't support trans inclusion in sports. And that is fundamentally because of misinformation that continues to get peddled around about trans people's biology. And that misinformation is being perpetuated in this segment.
Matter.
So
You're gonna
disappointing.
lose them. Okay, and then what I
And
just
we're gonna lose them because of absolute horseshit segments like this, Cenk. We're not gonna lose them because it's true. We're gonna lose them because outlets that are just going, oh, well, I don't know, but it just seems like men strong, women weak. Well, we're gonna lose them because of that. Oh, hey, look, a study on trans athletes from this year. Is this from this year? I thought I remember seeing this last year. But this goes over, studies published between 2011 and 2021. So it's like a good decade of peer-reviewed studies. Yeah, I've seen this before. We've actually gone over this on stream before. But yeah. Maybe we can go over this in more depth, tomorrow. But today I don't really want to do that. Aw, very knifey duck. Thank you for gifting non-binary superpowers a sub. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting stream and my ability to live. Let's finish this.
saw with my own eyes is not an anecdote. The polling bears it out.
Yeah.
This is not a winning issue for us. It is what it is. You do what you want with that information.
Well, the advocates and activists for the transgender community would respond with, we don't care about the politics, right? We don't care
Okay,
about...
then don't come. No, I gotta say it.
Let me just finish my thought, Jake, for
Okay,
1
go
second.
ahead, go ahead.
Okay, they'll say that, but okay, you don't care about the politics? Let's just, for once in your life, think strategically about what that means. That means that you're gonna continue pushing the Democratic Party to unequivocally support everything that the trans activists want, even if it's unpopular among the electorate. That means they're not
in sports are the same arguments they used to keep black people out of sports.
Yep, a lot of it is recycled. I don't think, let me be clear, I don't think TYT is purposely recycling these same arguments. I just think that a lot of those arguments are ingrained in the bones of our relatively white supremacist society, you know? I missed what she said because of text-to-speech, so we're going to back up.
That means. That means that you're going to continue pushing the Democratic Party to unequivocally support everything that the trans activists want, even if it's unpopular among the electorate. That means they're not getting reelected. That means they're going to lose to Republicans.
Okay, wait. This assumption only works if you think that trans rights are a losing issue for the voters, or even a primary issue, is an issue that is going to turn away a sizable percentage, like even 1 to 2% of the electorate. I honestly, on the left, I don't think that's the case. On the left, trans rights are very extremely popular. And frankly, I think this argument is embarrassing. This argument is embarrassing. You shouldn't push for civil rights for black people because it might not be popular with the electorate. I mean, we just looked at the polling numbers for MLK, and he's the American electorate hate him. He's actually the most hated man in America. We guess we just shouldn't support civil rights then. No! Obviously, you should continue to fight for what's right regardless. I thought that this network, I thought the TYT network had principles. And if they're going to abandon them at the first sign of, politicians being weak, how the fuck do they think they're going to get Medicare for all? What? God damn.
Republican lawmakers who are passing draconian, disgusting legislation in various states right now as we speak against the transgender community. So how does that make you win exactly?
No, that is incredibly selfish of activists who are betraying their own community.
Reggie Miller, a legendary NBA player in my state, said he always lost in pickup games against his sister, a college basketball star, even when he was in the NBA. Biological advantage, my buttocks.
Yeah, Jenk. My desire to be able to exist and have equal treatment in society is selfish. I'll admit that. Yeah, I want it for myself as a trans person. I do want that for myself, and I also want it for every other trans person. I thought progressive politics was about fighting for the little guy, you know? It was fighting for the rights of the oppressed and the marginalized. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned here, I think Cenk has made it very clear where he stands on this particular issue.
Because when you say I don't care about elections, who cares about the Democrats? That isn't the point.
Nobody said, okay, to be fair, there are far lefties who say they don't care about electoral politics, and they're stupid as fuck, all right? That being said, saying, oh, well, we just need to abandon trans people and abandon progress when it comes to trans people because, oh, it might not play well. You're a media network. Make it play well. That's your job. You're one of the largest media organizations online. Do your job.
Republicans introduced over 600 bills against the LGBTQ community. That's because of elections and over.
Yeah. They introduced them, and they're unpopular. If you look at the polling, the bills that they introduced are unpopular. And that gets hammered home every single time one of these bills fails in court. So what are you talking about, sir? You're saying, oh, well, there are a lot of anti-trans bills right now, so we should capitulate to the anti-trans movement, anti-trans rhetoric, anti-trans political agenda? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
70 of them have already passed. When you say I don't care about winning and I don't care about elections, what you're saying is I'm super selfish leftist activist and I'd like to build my cloud. But meanwhile, I'm willing to throw trans people and the entire LGBTQ community under the bus.
That's what it sounds like you're doing right now.
Knowing that these bills are gonna pass because we're laser focused on a losing issue. And by the way, you schmucks, you're falling exactly into the right-wing trap. The Republicans—
You're the ones doing the segment on this and saying there are many valid questions about it. What are you talking about? You're doing the segment. You chose to do this. You're the one focusing on it and making it a losing issue here.
They tried everything. They tried anti-gay stuff, it didn't work. They tried trans bathrooms, you remember that? That didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work, Cenk. Because the media apparatus was able to inform the electorate that, oh yeah, it's actually, you know, trans people just want to use the bathroom. Well, trans people also just want to play sports. And if they can do so competitively, they should be allowed to.
Is kicking the transgender community out of the military. That didn't work. They drilled.
Wait, what are you talking about? Donald Trump did kick trans people out of the military. What are you talking about? That happened.
Drilled in until they finally found a little tiny nugget of like, hey, trans folks in like competitive sports seems a little bit much. And you don't engage them in that fight. They lose on everything else. But
they also lose on that one if you engage them on it, Cenk.
idiot activists. Yes, I just called you an idiot. Activists go in there and go, no, I'm going to fall right into that trap, and I'm going to fight on the only losing ground we have.
And Jenk, why is it a losing issue? It's a losing issue because of the misinformation and the misinformed electorate. So inform the fucking electorate.
So we can elect more Republicans so they can pass more anti-LGBT laws. Great, well played. I'm sure your clout.
Yeah, I'm sure trans people shutting up and just allowing themselves to be discriminated against in sports will really help put the movement ahead there, Jank. I'm sure that historically just acquiescing to bigotry has been the best way forward for civil rights movements. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good one, bud.
Your brand is doing great.
I mean, I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have your...
Right now, all I can think of is... Chat, do you guys know the meme of the crayons meme? Like, that has, like, the Wojak with kind of, like, the self-satisfied look as he eats crayons. All I can think of is that being these two people right now, and it breaks my heart, actually.
You're back on that because you're right. And I think what we're seeing, look, every action leads to an equal or greater reaction. And that is what, like, the further the activists push with things that are not wanted by the vast majority of people, the more...
What are you talking about? The vast majority of people, like 10 years ago, didn't want queer people to be able to get married. What do you mean? Jesus Christ right now. It's Grands hour. Just, Grands. Oh, delicious, delicious Grands.
More Republicans will capitalize on that, seize that for their own political power, and respond with the draconian legislation that we've been seeing in very...
They don't respond with the draconian legislation, Anna. They are pushing the draconian legislation for their own agenda. Whether or not trans people are upset about that, whether or not trans people are being polite about that, they're going to continue pushing that agenda because all they need to do is stir the pot enough to get their voters on board with killing trans people. That's it. That's fundamentally it. That's it. Killing trans people unites their base, and they are fine with that, and they want more of it.
States.
I'm going to say one last thing. Sorry, Anna, I keep...
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Why don't you make them fight on losing ground?
It is losing ground. Man, this is a really good emote face, though. That's a really good emote face. This is a good screenshot. Grands. But just like, dude. It is losing ground for them. Trans women in sports is losing ground for these people. Because you know what?
This is literally the Young Turks saying, "Shut up and don't dribble." Asterisk.
Yeah, very, very knifey duck. I'd agree with that. I would say this is a very losing issue because every time conservatives are like, let's ban, trans athletes or whatever. There's a segment on like The View where like a 7-year-old girl who happens to be trans like comes on looking sweet and innocent and is just like, I just want to play sports, please. And everyone goes, oh, this is really cute. Why would you be against this? And then like the meter moves more in favor of the left. That's how you move public opinion. Just like, dudes, you continue moving the public opinion. You continue moving it. Every time they bring this up, you bring up the fact that, like, yeah, every study on trans women in sport shows that after 1 to 2 years, they're on par with equivalent cisgender women in terms of athletic performance. And if they're like, oh, well, there's not enough data, it's like, well, if there's not enough data, then why are you banning? Like, oh, well, because, trans women are dominating at women's sports. Okay, where? If they mention Leah Thomas, you can point out that Leah Thomas was like the second best swimmer in the men's division, or might have even been the first best swimmer in the men's division in college before she started HRT. And when she started HRT, she dropped down to like sub 200 rank in the swimming division. It was, and like stayed down there, and only became competitive again. And again, not dominant, competitive, when she switched over to the women's division. Like, you can look at the examples that they harp on about, and every single one of them is a losing conversation for the conservative movement. Exactly, Third Archon. Someone tell Jenk about that 9-year-old who got accosted by 2 grandparents over suspicion that she was trans, and they were demanding that her genitals, to see her genitals and birth certificate. Yeah, I mean, like, guys, this is a losing issue for conservatives. Because when these conservative, like, brown shirts work themselves up into a fervor, like, they go to, like, their nieces or nephews' track and field day, and then they scream at a 10-year-old, because they think like, oh, well, that's clearly a boy with long hair, and it turns out it's just a girl. And then they're like, well, that looks bad. And it does. And that sways public opinion, doesn't it? I used to watch TYT on a regular basis, and this shit just hurts me. Yeah, Metal Kitty Mom, like, TYT was very foundational to my political evolution, and seeing them go this way over, like, the last year has been baffling to me. And it hurts my heart. It genuinely does.
What? Yeah, what? Look, we have 1,000 winning issues. Paid family leave is at 84%. By the way, trans rights is at like 2/3 of the country saying yes.
Yeah.
Why don't you fight on winning grounds?
Because that's the trans rights and the trans people in sports are linked, dipshit.
Trump tried to ban trans people from risking their lives to serve in the US military. That is winning ground for us. Nope, I don't want to fight on winning ground. I want to be an idiot and go, which way ground does Tucker Carlson want me to fight on? I'll go fight on that ground. Please learn politics. Otherwise, get off of Twitter and do something productive with your lives. Become a plumber or something. Or
he's saying that advocating for trans inclusion in sport is a losing issue for trans people, so we should drop it. That's what he's saying. But like, yeah, we fight on that ground and we talk about it because trans women and trans men and trans NBs should be able to play sports. It's been a fundamental part of human culture for thousands of years. We should be able to participate in that area of culture. This, to me, this just seems on par with people saying like gay people shouldn't be able to go to the Olympics. Why? Yeah, we fight on that ground to change it into a winning issue.
Dentist, do something useful. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Fuck you. Crayons. Well, that made me mad. And chat, we've now been streaming for over an hour. If you've been enjoying the stream, throw some subs or donos my way, because that is what allows me to live. And if you don't, I will die on the street like a dog. Like a dog! deeply, deeply disappointing. I got edibles. I'm good. I'm not. I'm hot as shit. It's so muggy in my goddamn state. True, Stadman, true. Chat, I'm actually pretty upset, and I shouldn't have covered that today because I'm not in a place to cover it. I had an emotional breakdown earlier over a number of things that shouldn't have made me upset. I'm going to go now. Good day.